Crash, and today we're going to talk about this. This is some industrial tape. Teltech, a vital resource tool from June 10th, 1992. So this is a tape that companies would do this. And my buddy Peter told me about this because his company did it as well that he worked for. They'll like put basically together a commercial for a product or a service or something, and then sort of make it into basically a news story. So with the full knowledge from the news stations, because these people pay to put these in. And that's kind of like on the internet, when you're looking at news sites, you know, it's like news story, commercial, news story, commercial, and the commercials kind of blend in with the news stories, and so you don't know it'll say advertising on the, you know, really small lettering, but, you know, it's a little, the lines are blurred. Let's just say that. So this is actually a news story that is actually a commercial. And this is a kind of a sick thing that's not new. You know, obviously this is from 92, but a lot of times when you put on your local news, you're going to see commercials for things, and these are paid for. So these aren't really news stories. They're just commercials, you know, made to look like a news story. And this is a good example of that. I'm not going to say too much more. I'm going to just let the tape roll. And, you know, you decide. Is this a news story, or is this hairspray that she has in her hair?
This is KMSP, Minnesota's most watched television station. Now, Gary Rebstock and Robin Robinson. This is Primetime News.
Well, a Minneapolis-based corporation is playing a major role at the United Nations Earth Summit in Rio.
Teltech is an information network designed to help other companies find the answers to scientific and environmental puzzles. The small business is so good at what it does, it's considered a vital resource tool by many countries, especially the U.S. When the world's countries meet for an environmental summit, they don't necessarily come with all the answers in hand. Few are experts on deforestation or what the loss of the rainforest means to environmental nations. But they do know where to get those answers. Surprisingly, they come from Minneapolis.
Let me go ahead and tell you a little bit about some of the experts that we have in the network here that may cover this area.
The intent is, you know, really very simple. If you have an environmental issue and you want to know how to deal with that environmental issue, you now have access to the best minds that the country can offer.
Teltech is in the business of providing knowledge. The goal is to find the answers to science and technical questions for its customers in the shortest time possible, getting answers from experts at U.S. universities, businesses, and laboratories.
From that research, we began recruiting these experts. And the pitch is very simple to the expert. Here's an opportunity for them to give back to American industry.
A congressional study showed folks spend 30% of their time looking for information and only find 50% of what they want. Teltech's approach cuts search time in half, raises the success rate with a benefit to cost payback of 16-to-1. That convinced the EPA's William Riley to use Teltech at the Earth Summit. Teltech is also aiding the Mexican government in the aftermath of its deadly gas pipeline explosion in April. There are challenges, however, in getting science tech information to developing nations.
You readily accept the fact that you have a telephone, you're never going to have any problems, you're never going to get dropped or anything like that. In developing countries, that is not one of the, quote, take for granted things.
The Teltech Information Clearinghouse has been so successful it's being considered for use in over 100 countries. Dick Anderson is hesitant to say the company could be the brains behind the world's organizations. He's just happy Teltech can be of help in the U.S. and abroad.
Now the opportunity to deal with the EPA and dealing with environmental issues and helping solve, you know, some of the major problems that are going to be facing not only this country but the world, it's very gratifying.
Teltech's business has skyrocketed since its creation in 1984. 1991 sales were roughly $20 million, making it one of Inc. magazine's 500 fastest-growing private companies in America.